We are excited to be celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, and we would like for all of you to save the date for our open house on November 20th. Today we are going to be reviewing the renewal process, and we have the privilege of having Jim Schmershel, Managing Partner of Schmershel Treloar, one of the top 20 CPA firms in the Midwest, with us to look at some enhancements to the weekly and monthly reports. Let's introduce you to the other Beneflex members here today. I'm Judy Coleman, Sales Manager and Certified in Flexible Compensation by the ECFC. Mark Schmershel, Vice President of Beneflex, and he is also FCS certified. Brenda Cox is our Operations Manager. Brenda is certified in Flexible Compensation. For today's presentation, you will be in listen-only mode. If you have any questions, please type them in and we will answer them at the end of the presentation as time permits. If you registered for the webinar today, you should have received an email with a copy of the presentation attached. Today we are going to look at all of the calendar year plans that will renew and review the timeline for January 1st, 2015. We are going to walk through the renewal questionnaire and educational materials. We are very excited to show you the ease of employee or employer online enrollment. We've seen a large increase in employers that are making their employees enroll online due to the educational interactive nature of our enhanced online enrollment system. We will review the cost of living adjustments for 2015. And finally, Jim Schmershel will show some of the newest enhancements to the weekly and monthly reports that you receive. This is a listing of all the plan types that renew throughout the year. The flexible spending accounts, which include medical FSA, limited medical FSA, dependent care, and deductible reserve accounts. Employees need to make a new election each year for the FSA. Their Benny cards will be reloaded with their new election. New participants will receive 2 cards. The cards are good for 5 years, and if for any reason the cards need to be replaced, there is a $10 fee deducted directly from the participant's account. Also, it is important for you to submit updated copay information for your group health insurance. This will maximize auto-substantiation for all debit card swipes and minimize the number of receipts participants will need to submit. The health reimbursement arrangement and limited HRA, upon renewal, Beneflex will need an updated census with elections, and the census must include dependents if the dependents are covered on the plan. Dependents are required to make sure claims are adjudicated properly. The transportation management account, elections should be updated at the beginning of the year to coincide with the cost of living adjustments and may be changed on a monthly basis as needed by the participant. COBRA administration, Beneflex will need new rates. At renewal, active COBRA participants have the right to make changes to their coverage levels. The San Francisco HCSO HRA, new participants and contributions are updated quarterly. Employers will continue to send in quarterly rewards for 2014 and 2015. Finally, if Beneflex administers your retiree billing, we will need new rates. Today we are going to be focusing on the FSA, HRA, and TMA renewal. If you are an HSA client, you should have received an email from HSA Processing on Monday of this week with your renewal letter and questionnaire. If you attended our seminar or one of our webinars on the new FSA, I'm sure you can still hear Mark saying, "The fear is gone." If you did not attend, we would like to take a moment to talk about this great opportunity for your medical FSA. Last year on October 31st, the IRS issued new guidance allowing participants to carry over up to $500 at the end of the year in their medical FSA. The $500 carryover is in lieu of the grace period and must be uniformly available. Participants no longer have the fear or risk of losing their unused funds at the end of the plan year. Remember, it's not too late to make this change to your medical FSA plan, but you will have to make the change quickly so we can amend your plan before the end of the year. If you would like additional information on the $500 carryover, you may listen to the recorded webinar on our website under Education or contact your account manager. So we have developed several educational pieces to help your employees understand the fantastic benefits of the $500 carryover. We have a frequently asked questions and participant letter available electronically. We also have a flyer for your weekend warriors that are never sick. What can $500 in an FSA buy for you? Those are available either electronically or in hard copy. This is a great opportunity for you to increase enrollment in the medical FSA, and Beneflex would like to help you by providing educational meetings and webinars. Remember, 80% of employees that did not enroll in the FSA did not enroll because of the use it or lose it. We need to work with you to educate the employees, letting them know so they can enroll, saving them and you, the employer, more taxes. As of January 1st, 2014, due to the Affordable Care Act, there was additional guidance for flexible spending account plans. The employer must offer a group health plan. In addition, for an employee to participate in the medical FSA, the employee must be eligible for the employer's group health plan, but they do not need to enroll in it. Employers may still contribute to their employees' FSA accounts. Employer contributions are capped at $500 or a dollar-for-dollar match up to the participant's election. Along with the new FSA guidance, they added guidance for health reimbursement arrangements. Standalone medical HRAs are no longer permitted. HRAs must be integrated with an employer's group health plan. For those existing standalone HRA plans, employers are allowed to offer a spend down for unused amounts after 2013. Also, employers are no longer allowed to reimburse premiums for individual insurance policies out of the HRA. Now, with that being said, there is still some gray area on reimbursing individual insurance premiums on a pre-tax basis. So if there's any question with regard to you doing that or continuing to do that, you need to make sure you're talking to your broker or contacting your benefits attorney. For those employers offering the transit and parking plans, you will want to watch for the 2015 limits, which may affect participants' elections for the upcoming year. Based on the 2015 limits, participants should adjust their monthly contribution. Beneflex will notify you in a Benny Blast once we receive the cost of living adjustments. As a reminder, for those companies with employees in the San Francisco Bay Area, there is a new mandate. Employers must offer a commuter benefit plan for their employees and register it with the Bay Area Quality Management District. The plan must be in place by September 30th, 2014, which is quickly approaching. If you're not already in compliance, please contact Beneflex and we will work with you to implement a simple transit plan. The clock is ticking. It's so hard to believe that we are already looking at January 1st, 2015, but we want to take a moment here to review the renewal process and deadline. So you will need to submit your electronic enrollments by December 1st in order for us to guarantee that cards are loaded and all new participants receive their cards by January 1st, 2015. If you're not able to submit your elections by December 1st and you submit them between December 2nd and December 9th, cards are going to be loaded and new cards are issued but not guaranteed by January 1st. They may be delayed up to the end of January. Participants may submit manual claims until new cards are received and existing cards are loaded. If you need to submit your elections after December 10th, new cards are issued and existing cards are loaded, but that may be delayed up to mid-February. Participants may submit manual claims until new cards are received and existing cards are loaded. However, reimbursements may also be delayed. Files that are received after December 1st will be processed in the order of the date they are received. The renewal letter and questionnaire will be emailed to each client on Wednesday, October 1st, 2014. It is important that you reply so we can set a time for your renewal. We have many plans renewing at the same time, and by replying, it allows us to schedule a work plan for you. If you do not receive this email, please contact our customer service. We have provided the information at the end of this presentation. If you no longer handle the benefits, please let us know who to forward the information to in your organization. Beneflex has been using the questionnaire format for several years to collect the data for a smooth and easy renewal process. We have modified the format of the questionnaire this year. However, the questions remain very straightforward. You will simply click on a link and it will take you directly to the questionnaire. Once the questionnaire has been completed, you will click on the Submit button. You will receive a confirmation email which includes the answers to your questionnaire. There are a few questions that contain a red asterisk, which means that you are required to answer them. You will need to supply an answer before you are able to move to the next question. On the first section of the questionnaire, we are asking you to complete your company information. We require that you enter the company name and contact and their contact information. If you have recently moved and have not updated this information with Beneflex, you may enter your new address so we can update our records. Next, we would like for you to enter your broker's information and health insurance renewal dates. You may have had a change and we have not been notified, so by giving us this information, it allows us to verify our records. Under plan information, you will first let us know which plans you are going to renew with Beneflex by checking the appropriate boxes. The second question asks for any changes you are making to your plan design. For 2015, the IRS has not released the cost of living adjustment for the medical FSA. It will remain at $2,500 and we will notify you if this changes. If you would like to add the $500 carryover, you may check the box and we will send you the educational materials, amendment, and summary of material modifications. If you do not currently offer the FSA grace period and you would like to add it, you may amend your plan at this time to include the grace period. The grace period is the additional time that allows participants to continue to incur expenses to a maximum of 75 days. Remember, your plan cannot offer both the $500 carryover and the grace period, so you have to pick one or the other. The FSA and HRA runout period is the time participants have to file claims incurred in the prior plan year. The employer may set a different runout period for terminated employees. You may also indicate if you would like to offer the Benny debit card if you are already not doing so. We have added a new question this year. We would like for you to confirm your pay period information to ensure per pay period contributions are calculated correctly in the system. You will need to enter the number of pay periods. You should check all that apply if you have more than one. Then we would like for you to enter the day of the week of the first pay period, the date of the first payroll deduction, and the date of the last payroll deduction of the year. Under this question, we are requesting that you update all of your copay information. This will maximize auto-substantiation on Benny card swipes, which will minimize the request for receipts from your participants. If you have not renewed your medical insurance yet, you may submit the copay information to us at a later date. In this section, you are required to let us know how you will submit your elections to Beneflex. You have 4 options. The most popular option is employee online enrollment. You also have the option of employer online enrollment, or you may submit your elections electronically on the Excel spreadsheet provided by Beneflex. It is required before submitting this form to enter the dates of your enrollment period. For example, if you start your enrollment on November 1st and go through November 15th, the online enrollment will be available until midnight on November 15th. If providing your elections on our Excel spreadsheet, the annual election will be entered on the spreadsheet. The system will automatically calculate the per pay period contribution based on the number of pay periods. If you have a third-party vendor providing this information to Beneflex, please indicate that as well. All elections should be submitted at one time. If you have any changes or late enrollments, they must be submitted on the spreadsheet provided by Beneflex titled 2015 Late Enrollments. This is very important to help make sure elections are not missed. This brings us to what we believe is the most important step in providing a successful benefit is education. We are available to do group meetings, benefit fairs, webinars, and we also offer pre-recorded webinars on our website. If you are interested in offering an educational event, you may enter the dates and times so we can work with you to get those scheduled. This year, we have several new educational materials available. We ask that you take a moment to view them by clicking on the link. If you do not have time to view them while completing the questionnaire, you may also view them on our website. As you can see, some of the pieces are available only in electronic format and can easily be downloaded to your computer. Some of our educational pieces are available in hard copy and can easily be mailed out to you. By checking the appropriate box, you can choose which educational pieces you would like to use. You will indicate the number of copies and the date you need them by. Beneflex will need about 5 business days to get them in the mail. If you would like additional information on any other benefit plans, please check the appropriate box and your account manager will contact you. If you need additional information on Form 5500 filing, let us know and a representative from Commercial Chalor will contact you. Finally, we appreciate your feedback as we are always looking for ways to improve the services we provide. At this point, you've completed the questionnaire and you will hit the submit button. This will be in it. Then once you hit the submit button, you will be directed to the following screen. Once you see this screen, you will know your questionnaire has been successfully completed and submitted to Beneflex. Shortly, you will receive an email confirmation with the answers to the questionnaire. We do appreciate the time you take to submit this information to Beneflex. We strive to make this a smooth and easy renewal season for you. Once Beneflex has received your renewal questionnaire, we will send you a census based on your responses. The format of the file may not be changed. If you change the format, you run the risk of errors and delays in processing. If you have chosen to do employee or employer online enrollment, we will need you to update your census to include all eligible employees. We will need your census 2 weeks prior to online enrollment so everyone will be in the system. If you are doing employer online enrollment, you may enter new employees as you are entering their elections. Receiving this information in an electronic format reduces errors in trying to read handwritten forms. Beneflex uses the Benny debit card, one card for all benefits depending on the plan design. The card can hold multiple purses and can be set up with purse priority. The Benny card is a smart card and can only be used at medically coded merchants, including dental and vision facilities. The card will work at all grocery stores, discount stores, and pharmacies with the inventory information approval system in place. Here you'll see a list of available marketing or educational pieces for your employees. We have the FSA enrollment brochure, posters, eligible expense listing, receipt reminder envelopes, participant letters, what $500 in an FSA can buy, and we also have webinars and some of our pieces available in Spanish. Our clients in the past have requested a template newsletter to send out to participants informing them of their open enrollment. Beneflex has developed this template with options and guidelines available upon request. You may use this newsletter to kick off the FSA enrollment period. We can provide this to you as a Word document. Please feel free to use or change any part of the template letter that you think would be beneficial for your employees. Our educational enrollment brochures are available electronically or hard copy. This is a sample of the worksheet that is included in the enrollment brochure, which also includes frequently asked questions about FSAs and the Benny card, an enrollment form, and the insert provides an eligible expenses listing, direct deposit form, and a claim form. We encourage mandatory educational meetings. However, if this is not possible, from our website, participants may access the educational webinars under Education. They have 4 options available for viewing in both English and Spanish based on their life situation. Employees have access to a tax savings calculator on our website by clicking on Education and then How Your Paycheck Buys More. As well as they can find additional frequently asked questions and answers. We not only like to provide education for employees, but we like to keep you, the employer, informed as new guidance is released. We will notify you by email with our Benny Blast. Our Benny Blasts are also available on our website under News. Employees have several options for checking their account balance. We recently announced our new interactive voice response system, IVR. Our enhanced IVR system allows employees to get account information in both English and Spanish. We continue to see an increase in the number of participants downloading our mobile app. They may download the Beneflex HR mobile app on all iPhone and Android devices. Participants may view their account balances, claims history, contributions, and submit medical FSA claims. Participants may sign up for text alert messages through the employee portal. They may receive text alerts to let them know they have submitted a claim has been denied, or a receipt reminder letting them know they need to provide a copy of one of their receipts to substantiate a claim. Employees have access to their account online 24/7 and can check their account balance through the employee portal. We have a flyer available with the instructions on how employees can access the employee portal and download the mobile app. Employees needing additional assistance may contact our customer service Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you choose online enrollment, Beneflex has tutorials available to walk you or your employees through this process. We will take a couple of minutes here to log into the Employee and Employer portal to show you how easy it is to use these options. So first, we're going to look at the employee portal. The employee is going to click on Employee Login, and then they are going to enter their username and password. Remember, their username is the first letter of their first name, their full last name, the last 4 digits of their Social Security number, and their home state abbreviation. If this is the first time they're logging in, their temporary password is Beneflex, all lowercase letters. After they log in for the first time, they can opt to choose to change their username or create a new password. So as you will see, once they are logged in, they'll see its annual enrollment time, and they'll click on Enroll Now. At this point, they will educate themselves on the different types of plans that are available, and they can click on each plan and the plan description to get additional information about the plan. Now, only the plans that you as the employer are offering are going to be listed here for the employees to look at. So after they've reviewed their plan descriptions, it's time to make their benefit selection. So they're going to click on Begin Your Enrollment Now. They can review and update their profile information here, and they can make any changes as necessary. They will click Continue, and then they have to confirm that they've read and understand each of the plans that are available to them. So they do have to click on each box whether or not they're electing that benefit in order to be able to continue. Once they click on the box, then they'll hit continue. And at this point, they'll be able to enter their election amount. And if you note, it will show next to the benefit what the maximum election is allowed. So they'll enter the benefit, they'll click calculate, and they can actually see their total tax savings for the year. So if they've elected $2,500 for the year, their estimated tax savings is about $750. And based on the number of pay periods, it's going to be about $108.70 coming out of their paycheck per pay period. Okay. Then it's going to, if you offer the Benny debit card, it's going to show that you offer the debit card, and it's going to ask the participant if they want to choose an alternate reimbursement method. So they would either choose to receive a check or a direct deposit based on their need. So they can, if they choose direct deposit, then they can enter their checking account information at that time. Once they've entered all that information, they're going to go through and they're going to review their enrollment information. Then they would go to the bottom, click on continue and submit, and then they actually can go here and print a confirmation page, and they've successfully enrolled online. So it's very quick and easy. At any time during the open enrollment period, the participant may go in and update or change their election. Okay, so that is the employee online enrollment, and now we would like to take a moment to show you how easy it is for you as the employer to go on and enter the elections if you don't want to have your employees do the online enrollment. So you will log into your account. You go to employer and employer login. You'll enter your username and your password, and hopefully all of you have established that. If you need help with getting any of that information, you can always contact our customer service. But once you've logged into the employer portal, you would click on employees, and you can click on view all employees. And this will give you a listing of all the employees that are in the system for your company. Next, you will select the employee, the name of the employee that you want to enter their election. At this point, if you needed to, you could click on Update Profile if you needed to update any of the information about the employee, like they had a change of address or something. You could go in and update that. But really, all you're going to need to do is click on Enrollment. And once you click on Enrollment, you'll click on Add Enrollment. You will pick the benefit that you want to enroll them in. So we're going to enroll Lisa in the medical FSA. We're going to enter the effective date, which is January 1st, 2015. And then the annual election amount will be entered. And if by chance you're an employer that gives employer contributions, you would enter that as well. And then you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page, and you're going to click Add Enrollment. Okay, and it looks like we just needed to check. Looks like we had entered more than the maximum for the employer. So we're going to go down and click Add Enrollment. So it lets you know if you enter something incorrectly. And then once you've entered the correct information, you'll see you've successfully enrolled the employee in the following plan, which is the 2015 FSA, the medical FSA. So very quick and easy. And you would just go through and add the election for each of the employees. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jim Schmerschel, and he is going to walk you through some of the newest enhancements to our weekly and monthly reports.
Thanks, Judy. This is Jim Smershel. You can tell because my voice is lower. The thing we're going to spend some time on today is the account balance detail report and some of the enhancements that we've made to that report this year. We're also going to take just a minute or two to review what this is all about generally, because this is an important tool for you to use in keeping track of what's happening with your plan, on monitoring your activity, on seeing where you stand at any given time. And so we pay a lot of attention to getting this to be the best that it can be. You can see that the first enhancement we're going to talk about has to do with the $500 carryover. And that is that with the addition and election of the $500 carryover, and presumably most all of you have already elected the $500 carryover, but in doing so, we needed to create another column to reflect the $500 carryover, or whatever portion that was, in your balance totals. And so just to remind you, for the plan balance, for example, which is based on the election that you make and is both for pre-funded and accrual plans, which is to say it applies to both medical reimbursement and dependent care, this calculation. The calculation for plan year balance is the same. It starts with the participant election or employer or participant election and employer contribution. So that's the baseline for starting. We then would add any incoming rollovers that come in. And by the way, there'll also be a column that will ultimately show up for outgoing rollovers in the next year when those come out of your plan and roll over into the next year. But for this purpose, we're only looking at the incoming rollovers. So we start with participant election and employer contribution. We're going to add the incoming rollovers, and then you can just follow right along, less the paid, plus the refunds, less pending, less the fees, less the debit card, pre-authorizations, and that's going to give you your plan balance. And so the form just flows right across. Now, and that's also then true for the plan year balance, the available balance, but let's look at one of the enhancements. As we say, it rolls right across. One of the enhancements that we made was to tweak the way in which the report presented refunds. As you might imagine, there were tens of thousands of dollars spent in, and hours spent in programming for this, and the detail showed the paid account activity on a gross basis. That is, all the individual participants. When you look at their paid activity, it was on a gross basis, and the refunds were on a gross basis. Formerly, prior to this enhancement, however, the account balance detail report would net the refunds into the paid column, and then the refunds themselves were only a memorandum column. They were a memo-only column. That caused some confusion because people wanted to add across and take their contributions, less payments, plus refunds, and because it was netted in the paid account and the refunds were memo-only, you couldn't do that. So we heard you say that, and we have enhanced this by making the paid column be only payments on a gross basis and not include the refunds. So the refunds column is not memo only any longer. It's actually a real refund amount that you take into account. So now you can add right across from the election all the way through to debit card pre-authorizations, and then you would stop there, and that would give you your plan year balance. And for medical reimbursement, it would give you your available balance. I want to remind you that the available balance is different than plan year balance because the available balance computation for medical reimbursement starts with elections. For dependent care, the available balance starts with consumer deposits. And so instead of starting with the election, you would start with consumer deposits, which you can see towards the right of the report. you would take the consumer deposits and the employer deposits, you'd start there, and then you would swing over to the paid column and just pick up all those columns going across, and that would give you your available balance. The other enhancement we made to that, and this really only applies to 2 clients in the last year, so I'm going to say this really quickly because it only applied to 2 clients, and that is that the reporting for plan balance adjustments was similar to refunds, and it also caused some confusion for the 2 clients that it applied to, and so we adjusted it. And so now the plan balance adjustment column no longer appears, and so there's no longer any confusion as to how you roll across to get to the plan balance. That was a small enhancement, but we wanted to make sure that we covered that. Now, the last remaining balance is, of course, the cash balance. And cash balance also does not start with employer contributions. Cash balance starts with consumer deposits and employer deposits on the right, and then from there goes back over and picks up the paid column and goes paid, refunds, pending, fees, but it does not pick up debit card pre-authorizations. It doesn't pick up debit card pre-authorizations because debit card pre-authorizations are card swipes that have not settled by the merchant. So they haven't come out of cash, but they have come out of the available balance. And so as a consequence, appropriately, debit card pre-authorizations are not included in the computation of the cash balance. The programming has always appropriately reflected that. However, having spent all those hours on programming, when it came time to actually type up the report key, they mucked it up. And so even though the computation of the balance was correct, it used to be that the report key included pre-authorizations in the computation, even though the balance itself appropriately did not. So, cleverly, we've now taken out the pre-authorization description out of the cash balance report key, and so it's gone. Again, that's not something that changed the dollars on your report. It simply makes the report easier to use and eliminates some confusion in terms of definitions. The last elimination of confusion that we did had to do with the participant fees, and the participant fees for debit cards, the $10 charge to the participant, because we were really interested in making sure that you saw that, showed up on both the debit card funding report and it showed up on the employer funding notification. And that caused some confusion because people would see it twice. And even though it was only deducted once, because it showed up on 2 reports, we had some confusion as to whether or not it was once or twice. And so to eliminate that confusion, it no longer will show up on the debit card funding report the way it used to, and you can see we have it highlighted the way it used to be. So it's not there anymore. It only shows up on the employer funding report. It's the same $10. We've just eliminated that confusion. So that is, just to be clear, it shows up on the, sorry, did I say it backwards? Let me say it right. They'll only be included on the debit card funding report. They will not be included on the employer funding report. The important thing is it only shows up once. And then Judy, back to you.
Thank you, Jim, and thank goodness we have a CPA in the room to explain all of that. Okay, so we just have a few housekeeping items that we'd like to go over. No changes to our weekly claims processing schedule. Feedback from your employees has compelled us to keep the claims processing deadlines the same. The weekly submission deadline for HRA claims is Monday at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. The weekly submission deadline for FSA and TMA claims is Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Weekly processing of claims is on Thursday still, and checks are mailed out on Friday with the exception of holidays and severe weather-related incidents. Watch for the 2015 limits, which may affect participants' elections for the upcoming year. Based on the limits, participants may need to adjust their annual elections. Beneflex will notify you in a Benny Blast once we receive the cost of living adjustments for 2015. At this time, only the HSA contribution limits have been released. I do want to note on the 2014 TMA, we track all new legislation, and there are a number of bills that, if passed, could affect the 2014 TMA limits. It's getting really late in the game, but never say never. So we will let you know if anything happens with that. The IRS mandates the enrollment period be observed. All election forms must be signed and dated by the participant prior to the start of the plan year. Beneflex does not need to receive copies of the enrollment forms. You should keep them for your files. The card vendor will calculate the 3% pre-fund, and Beneflex will notify you with any necessary adjustments. Beneflex will perform discrimination testing on your plan. IRS guidelines require this to be performed at the end of the plan year to include all new hires. Please remember when you're completing your census to include that information on the census so that we have the most current information in our system. A couple of other things that we have found to be some best practices are employer seed money. This gives employees an opportunity to experience the benefits of an FSA. We have several employers that have been using seed money, and the FSA participation has grown to over 50%. Offering participants a contribution to their FSA maybe if they complete a wellness initiative, or and then lastly, we'd like for you to have mandatory educational meetings. We feel that the educational meetings always result in increased participation as well. A couple of ongoing proposed changes. There continues to be discussion on the repeal of the prescription requirement for over-the-counter drugs and creating a parity between mass transit and parking benefits. Again, Beneflex will keep you informed if there are any changes through our Benny Blast. Remember, in order for Beneflex to guarantee that all cards are loaded and new participants have their cards by January 1st, which is a deadline given to Beneflex from MasterCard and Visa, Beneflex must have your elections by December 1st. So if you miss the deadline of December 1st, we're going to work the files in the order they're received to get you set up as quickly as possible. So just a review, you need to go out and complete your questionnaire. It will be emailed to you on October 1st. Review the template letter for employer communication to employees. And remember that you can change that letter if necessary. You should set the timeline for your educational meetings, your enrollment period, and then the time that you're going to submit your electronic enrollment for a smooth start to the new plan year. Okay, so at this time, I ask that if you have any questions, you go ahead and type those in, and we'll get to some of those questions. I want to remind everyone to save the date for our open house, which is going to be November 20th. We'd like to see all of you and meet with you. While we're waiting, we'll get some of those. Okay. So the first question that came up is, and Brenda Cox is going to help answer some of these questions. Did you say there's still time to switch to the $500 carryover?
Absolutely, Judy. The change must be made prior to the end of the plan year, and if you currently have the grace period set in place, it is important to educate your participants on this change. Now, you can contact Beneflex, and we can certainly assist with the education process.
Okay. What makes online enrollment better for our employees?
Online enrollment is easier for the employees and the employer. Employers prefer online enrollment as it automates their enrollment process. The employer automatically receives a weekly enrollment report that keeps them up to date on the status of their elections. And our website has educational documents to help assist the employee in making their election decisions.
Okay. And then there's a question about the $500 carryover. So if we elect the $500 carryover, does that limit the amount that the employee can elect for the following year?
The $500 carryover is not included in the limit of $2,500. So the employer could, you could have the additional $500 carryover as well as the full $2,500, and in essence the employee would have access to $3,000 in that plan year.
Okay. And then we had a question, I believe a client already has their own online benefit portal that's integrated with Beneflex. So as long as we are able to receive a file feed in our format, then we can
process those files in the normal manner. Yes.
And if we already amended our plan last year to include the $500 carryover, we do not need to do anything this year. Is that correct?
That is correct, because they already have their summary material modifications, the SMM, that has already covered the change to their plan.
Okay. Can you explain the difference of the FSA run-out period for termed employees? Can it be different?
An employer can make a difference in the amount of run-out that they allow to submit claims for active employees versus terminated employees. Some employers, for the most part, choose 90 days after the end of the plan year for their active employees, but they may choose to only set a 60-day for those employees who terminate during the plan year, and therefore that would be 60 days after their termination date.
Okay, it looks like we have gotten to all of the questions. So at this time, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and we appreciate your business. And if you have any additional questions, please contact us at our customer service or send us an email. Thank you.